Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about things I do to make reading easier for myself as someone who has ADHD, and these tips could be helpful to someone who has ADHD or even someone who doesn't. But they're just things that I think that would help if you're struggling with reading but want to get into it. So the first tip that I think is honestly the most important is to choose something that's interesting to you. Like, don't like one that means like if you're in a bookstore or like a library or something, judge books by their cover. That like because the purpose of a book cover is to tell you what kind of book it is, like who the target audience is, what genre is, and like give you a kind of an idea about what happens in the book. Like for example, with like YA novels or like romance novels, they'll have like the specific cover design where it's like an illustration of two people and it looks kind of generic, and they're like at a beach or something, or and sometimes they like won't have faces, or like with I'm trying to think of another example. Those are the most distinctive. But then another thing, like if you're into like classics, maybe you'll look for like the Penguin Classics thing. For me, I'm not really into like books that are meant as like entertainment, so I'll kind of go for books that have like low-key ugly covers, like this one's for school, or this one is really ugly, I'm not gonna lie. And I don't know what the like this has to do with the book. Like I guess you could see this, but I don't know what the slide has to do with the book. Anyway, another thing that's important is like you need to match the vibe that you're feeling. Like if you're not feeling one book at the time, then like have another book that you're also reading that you could switch to. Like when I was reading Frankenstein, I really wanted to finish it, and I was like, Frankenstein is a book that I've like really wanted to read, but it's it was hard for me to read it. Like I couldn't read more than like 15, 20 pages in one sitting before I had to like take a break or like read something else. So something that you can do is like, oh, if you don't feel like reading this like heavy fiction, you can switch to something that's like lighter, or switch to like nonfiction or like a short story, something like that. The next thing that I want to talk about is instead of using like ebooks, use physical books, because in my experience, it's a lot harder to get distracted because like if you're reading on like your phone or laptop, I can't say if you're reading on something specifically for reading, like if you're like on a Kindle or something, but like if you're using a physical book, there's not the same element of like, oh, I can just like click on something else as like if you're reading on your phone or like get a notification from something else. And then another thing is it's easier on the eyes for me. Like if I'm reading on a computer screen, it like my eyes start hurting after a while. The next thing I want to say is like if with that goes along with the reading physical books is that buying them is something that's really important for me at least, because if I buy a book, then there's the weight of like, oh, I spent money on this, I need to actually like take it seriously. Or but then also like there's like the novelty factor, like, oh, this is new, this is exciting, I should buy it. But if your like novelty is like a big thing for you, I will say that you shouldn't buy like a lot of books at once, because then they'll like be like less exciting to you, and then you'll just want to buy more books, and that's not really like a good habit. The other thing, oh, there's like this is specifically when compared to if you're borrowing the books from a library. If you're There's not like the time pressure that you would have if you borrowed a book from a library. Like I know you can renew books, but for me, if I borrow a book from a library, it feels more stressful in a way. So most books that I'll like borrow from a library are usually like kind of like trashy books that I wouldn't spend money on unless I bought them like secondhand. Oh, I forgot to mention that in the purchasing books, but secondhand is like a great way to buy books. Like, most of my books are used. I think I've like this is my one brand new book. This is my favorite book. I didn't buy it. Someone bought it for me. I'm very grateful. But normally I'll buy books secondhand, and typically I'll do that online just because it's easier for me because I don't have a car, like I can't drive. But the thing with secondhand books is sometimes the person who like bought it before you, they'll like annotate the book or whatever. Like this in my copy of Movie Go, I have too. And that's fine, but it can be really irritating to me sometimes if they just like underline with seemingly no pattern and in pen. Like this, like in this copy of the moviegoer that I have, the person who had it before me, they just underlined like basically like every two words, and I couldn't figure out why they did that. But sometimes it's really cool. Like, I have this other book. Well, I don't have it with me. I lent it to someone, but like a bunch of like different people had it, and it's nonfiction, and people were like writing their thoughts on it, and I thought that was really cool. What's the other thing? I went on a tangent. Oh, a good bookmark. Okay, this is my favorite bookmark. It's the main one that I use, and it's sturdy but still like neat. Like, it's not paper, but this is important because if you can use it to like go line by line in a book. Like, I'm someone who, like, if I'm reading, my eyes tend to go all over the page if I don't have a bookmark. So this just helps me to stay in the same place and also not like accidentally spoil myself by like looking down the page and seeing like the dialogue or whatever and then like ruining it for myself. So this is something that I consider like really important. And also, this one just like looks cool. I don't know what it's from. If you know what it's, if you recognize this, like, comment or something. But oh yeah, I forgot to say, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff for more videos. I'm trying to post every day. Okay, but you can also use things like, I don't know where it is. I don't know where it is, but I also had this other one that's like this like envelope that's kind of like plastic. I don't know, but it was sturdy, and I used that to read as well. Other things. This one is not a big thing for me because I'm not really like tempted by it, but hiding your phone is also something that's important because if it's there, then you might have the urge to like look at it and like check to see if anyone texted you, if you have any notifications. So just like what I used to do is I would like put my phone in the freezer so then I like couldn't get it even if like go back on it even if I wanted to because it would like take a while, and that helped me to not get distracted by my phone. And then also like just like not watching like short form content in general has been helpful for me because like if you watch lots of short form content it kind of like shortens your attention span, I feel like, and it makes you like like you're just like less patient. Like I'm repeating myself basically. And then another thing I want to say is that if it's hard for you to like read long portions of text at first, that's totally okay. It takes a while to build up your reading stamina. Like like I'm thinking back to like elementary school when I could read like a whole Harry Potter book in like one day, like the fifth one or sixth one, I don't know, the big long ones. If you read it, you know what I'm talking about. But then now it takes me like forever to read even like 300 book forever. I don't know. I'm not actually that slow of a reader, but that's because I have like all the time in the world to read. Again, I'm rambling, but oh, what's the other thing I was gonna say? This is the last one, and it's something that like is not really like I don't know. This is something that also has helped me, but I didn't do it specifically help me with reading. But taking medication for ADHD has helped me a lot with reading because, again, I just like don't get distracted. Like I can just like lock in. It's so weird. It's really cool. But that's the last thing. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped. If you have any other tips, leave them in the comments, and then like, subscribe, all the good stuff. I said that like 2 minutes ago. Goodbye.